Hello, my name is Sarah. Welcome to the It's a Sarah podcast. Today is Monday, August 29th, and this is episode 37. I noticed quite some new viewers on my YouTube channel, so welcome, so lovely to have you here. And I thought it's a good idea to do a little short introduction again. My name is Sarah and I'm coming to you from the Netherlands, so excuse my Dutch English. I love to knit, I love to crochet, and I love to talk, so that's the perfect combination for a knitting podcast. I make a knitting and crochet podcast for quite some years now. I guess 4 years, I guess. I started in Dutch. I started on Instagram TV. And last year I moved to YouTube. And I'm enjoying all the knitting podcasts myself as well. And I had a very strong desire to make an English one on my own, by myself. I want to make an English knitting podcast and crochet podcast. That's what I want to say. But I also had a very strong opinion that my English was not good enough because I never speak English. I can understand and that's no problem, but I never have to speak it. And when you never speak a language, the chance is quite big you are not good at it. But I wanted it, and after all the doubts, I thought, let's go. And since episode 20, I make an English one and a Dutch one every week. And I was struggling with my perfectionism, but I am enjoying it every week more and more. All the lovely comments of you that my language struggle isn't a problem at all helps me to get over my insecurity about my English struggling, and that's totally okay. So I'm enjoying it a lot, and it's such fun that people from all over the world are listening and watching my podcast about the projects I make. I'm enjoying that a lot. I learn so much from other people, from their projects, get so inspired, and it's for me it's so fun to be a small part of that worldwide community. I am enjoying it a lot. So did I told about my personal stuff? I'm living in the Netherlands with my family. I have a husband and 3 kids. They are teenagers, 1 boy and 2 girls. And we have a dog. And I used to work as a teacher. But since 2021, last year, was it 2020? I don't know. I quit that job because it didn't feel like the right. I worked all my life as a teacher, but it was not a good job for me. So now I'm doing what I love, and that's wonderful, and that's mainly creative stuff. So let's start to tell you about this because I have a finished object and I'm so excited about it because my heart makes a jump, and when my heart makes a jump, that's why I love knitting and crochet so much. You can make something with your hands and which can make your heart jump, and that's so fun. That's so fun. So let's tell you all about my new cardigan. It's a combination of knitting and crochet. I've shown you this as a work in progress in earlier episodes, but it's a finished object now. This is the Ariana cardigan by Christoffers. She designed this pattern for Barocco, and I didn't know exactly what Barocco was, but some of you told me it's a local yarn company. I don't know still in which country, but it's a local yarn company, and the pattern is a free pattern. You can find it on their website and also on Ravelry, and that's where I found it. I have quite some patterns in my Ravelry library, and it was more than enough. So I told myself not to buy new patterns because I guess many of you will recognize this feeling. You want to make all the stuff, but that's not possible. It is too much. There is too much inspiration. There are too much. No, I have to say many. Too much inspiration, too many patterns, and too less time. Too less? No, not enough time to make all of them. So I told myself, don't buy any new patterns. But I love to ignore my own rules. So what did I do? I was looking at Ravelry. How do you call it? A filter? In Dutch you say a filter. How do you say it? I don't know. Let's see. Let's check. When you can choose some. Oh, my Ravelry site isn't Dutch. Advanced search. You can choose some categories in which you want to search, and I've chosen the free pattern search, because when I found free patterns, I didn't buy new patterns. But it's absolutely crazy because it's not helping my problem of my Ravelry library is too big. But it's also quite fun to ignore your own things sometimes. So when I was searching through the free patterns, let me be clear, I love to pay for a pattern because I guess the designer deserves the money, because designing a pattern, I've tried it once, never made it, but it's quite some work, and I love to pay for patterns. So it was, but if you don't have the money, or if you don't you can search on free patterns, and it's quite a lot. So that's the reason why I discovered this pattern from the Ariana cardigan, a free pattern. And I love granny squares. Granny squares are absolutely my truly deeply love. The granny squares are the reason I started crocheting years ago anyway, and after crocheting I started knitting. I was a crocheter at first, so the combination of crochet and knitting was perfect for me, and I immediately knew I want this cardigan, and I want it badly. I checked all the Ravelry project pages, not all of them, but I checked some, and not everybody was very positive about the pattern. It was the description wasn't always clear for some people, so I knew it may be difficult to understand, but I thought they are granny squares, and there was a clear picture how to build your cardigan with all the granny squares and the triangles and quarter squares, so I didn't see a real problem. So I was looking through my stash. I have quite some one yarn ball stash. I've worked for Long Yarns, a yarn company in Europe, in Switzerland. I guess it's also in other. It's also, you can also buy it in other countries. I don't know, but in Europe you have Long Yarns, and I've worked for them for their social media. I've quit a few months ago, but I received big boxes with yarn, and I have to make pictures of them for their social media, and I was allowed to keep all the stuff. So I only kept the stuff I liked and the colors I liked, but I have very many balls in my stash, one color balls of a quality. So this is Long Yarns Kylie, and it's, let me see, it's a summer yarn, although it's in their summer collection. And Long Yarns Kylie, it was all a gift, so I didn't pay for this. It is 56% cotton, 25% silk, 13% wool and 6% viscose. And it's quite a Yeah, it's not. It's a bit of a bubbly yarn. I don't know how to say it. Not an even thread, but yeah, there must be a name for it, but I don't know it. And I've picked some colors which I liked, and I started the granny squares at the bottom. And at first, this was my first try. It looks kind of poorly because I have to cut out some squares because I need the colors for this one. But this was my first try, and I had my granny squares had the same gauge as the pattern said, so I started it, but it came way too wide. In one of the Ravelry project pages, I've read that. That woman, she wrote she skipped one row of the granny squares, so they will be shorter and it will be a narrower fit. Where's my craft book? Here. So my second try, I also skipped the last row, and that worked out pretty well. Let's see my notes. Yes, this is the Ariana cardigan. It is the only picture I always use a craft book, which I write all my notes, and I paste all the stuff, all the threads and all the pictures I like. And I started this cardigan at May 14th, and I worked a bit on it, but I took it with me on my holiday, and then I get really in a good flow, and I love to make the granny squares. And the pattern tells you exactly the amount of granny squares and triangles and quarter squares you need, and then you crochet them all together with one thread. But I've done that for a blanket once, and I don't like it. It's good to have, you don't have many ends to weave in at the end, but I find it kind of difficult, and I prefer crochet them together as you go. So I tried that, and with my second try, with one row less at each granny square, I made the bottom. This picture, I didn't look at the picture often, at the pattern often. I just use this picture, and I started to build the bottom of the cardigan and the first row, and then I could see if the size was better with one row less, and it was. So then I counted all the squares and all the triangles I needed, and I was making the first row of every one because I wasn't sure I had enough yarn. I had from the yellow, let's see, the first row, the yellow, I had one skein, and that was perfect. I could make it perfect, but only the one row. It's very tiny, of course. And then the second row, that was the most exciting because I had not much of. I only had one skein of that yarn. I thought I had a tiny end, a few centimeters. But I can't see it anymore. When I was filming my Dutch episode I had, but it's gone. Oh, it's in this, let me see. Here it is. This color is all I had left, and I have to cut out my first try because I had not enough. And then the third color is a bit of salmon pink. Light pink. I had two skeins of these 50-gram skeins. 50-gram skeins. Yarn balls. 50-gram balls. They were no skeins. They were balls. And the grey one is also. I have nothing left, but I also had two balls of them. And the brown I ordered, and 6 balls, and I've looked at the pattern for that, but I have quite some left, more and some more. I crochet them together as you go, and it was like building a cardigan. When you are knitting a cardigan or crocheting something and you go top down or bottom up, you go back and forth. But with this cardigan, you build granny squares and you put them on another, and it's a square for every square. It grows a bit. It was quite fun. I made an adjustment. I didn't like the extra fabric under the armpits. It was too much for my taste, so I skipped them, and I skipped this part at all these sides. And I find it quite hard to explain what I did, but it was just making there a square and fold it double, and it was quite easy. So here's not the fabric, but it's just straight, so, and it wasn't hard to do it, and I really love the shape of it. It's quite narrow under my armpits. There is enough space, but I love the fitted style, because I was planning to wear this on my linen skirts, and they are white. I guess maybe it was a better combination with my brown linen skirt, but I have to iron it, and I hadn't had the time of actually the motivation to iron it for the podcast. So green it is, and it's also good. It's also good. So what was I telling? The fit is perfect, and I made quite a cropped cardigan, and it's perfect on my skirts. I'm very, very pleased with how it is now, and I was thinking we shall see what it will be. You are enjoying making granny squares, no matter when it's not the fit, if what you like, but it is perfect. It is perfect. When the cardigan was all together, it was time to knit. You crochet all the stuff, and then it's time to knit. The finishing touch is knitting. First of all, I made a little... The pattern tells you to pick up the stitches right away from your crochet work, but I didn't like that. I didn't try it, so I don't know actually, but I thought I would not like it. So I made a little border. I find the English and the American crochet terms quite hard, but I think in Dutch we call it a vaste, and I think you say a single crochet, but in English or in American it's different, so it's quite hard. But the smallest stitch you can make. And I'm not gonna search it, but I make a single crochet. I hope that's the right term. A single crochet in every space, and then I made 2 chains between them, and that made it was important that there was stretch, but it wasn't too wide. So, and after that I picked up the stitches with my knitting needle, and it worked out pretty good, and I like... And you don't see it, and that was exactly what I wanted, that you can't see where I picked up the stitches. It was a bit of a search which needle I had to use. First I knitted the cuff with 3mm needles, and it was way too wide. I've shown you last week. So I ripped the second cuff I did with 2mm needles, and I ripped out. That was better, and I ripped out the first and did it again. The cuffs are still quite wide. I've checked another sport weight pattern, a knitting pattern for the amount of stitches for the cuff. My stripe sweater from Andrea Mowry, and these cuffs had 4 stitches less, but it's other material. This is mainly cotton, and it's quite a difference. So they're quite wide. Normally I make my cuffs very, very long and fold them back, but this is really a summer cardigan, and I didn't feel like it was a good idea to make such long cuffs, and I'm not sure if that was a good idea, but I guess I still can fold them back over the crochet, and then I have some 3/4, no more, 7/8. I don't know, how you say it, but I think this sleeve length is perfect for a late summer cardigan, early spring, late spring, I guess. So I think this is perfect. And if I'm changing my mind, I always can knit them longer. Then I added that border the same as I did at the sleeves at the rest of the body. At the bottom and at the neckline, and then I picked up stitches for the hem. You work them first, and I it was quite easy. I never count the stitches. I always, for 2x2 ribbing, you need an amount of 4, and I always trust that it will be okay. And if it is not okay, I add, or I increase or decrease some stitches, and it's never a problem. And I'm very proud of myself, because for the first time I remembered I have to start with start and end with 3 knitting stitches, because every time I make a sticked garment I forget, and I only choose 2 knit stitches at the beginning, at the ending, and when you pick up the button band, 1 stitch disappears in the pickup line. And you only have 1 stitch column, and the rest is 2. And it's a detail, but I'm very proud of myself. I remembered that while I was setting up the stitches, and I did, so it's perfect. The only thing is, maybe I've knitted 10 rows of rib stitch, and you can see here, you can see my belly a bit. Maybe I should have knit 15 rows, and I can do it now anymore. I can't do it now anymore, but you just see, maybe it had to be 2 centimeters, I guess 1 inch. 1 inch is a bit of 2.5 centimeters, I guess. Longer, that would be perfect, but it isn't a problem. After that, the ribbing at the bottom, I picked up the stitches for how do you call it, for the button band, for the neckline. It's all one. You don't have to do anything special here. It's also 2x2 rib, and it was quite, I had to place the buttonholes. I didn't have buttons, and I normally when I make a cardigan, it's one side and another side the button bands, but now it was all on 1 needle, and it was on a 100 centimeter circular needle. I don't have an interchangeable set. I do have, but only the shorties, and I wasn't knitting on shorties, so it was very busy on my cable, and I tried to transfer them to another cable so I can stretch out and see it well, but it didn't work out, and I was quite frustrated, and I want to go on. I want to be this cardigan finished. And then I thought, oh, when I stretch it out a bit, and it's here and there, and it's quite okay. After that, I bound off the stitches. The first try, I did the knitting, the ribbing knitting with 2.5 millimeters, and the first time I bound off my stitches, I used a 3 millimeter needle. For the cuffs and the hem, I did a very stretchy bind off. Genie, surprisingly stretchy bind off. Oh, all those names. I used that one, but it's one of my favorite bind offs. But for this part, I like a regular bind off. I think it's neater, and I don't have, it's not important this is very stretchy. Here I want it, and here too, but here it's not necessary. But the 3 millimeter needle bind off, the bind off was too tight, way too tight. But I only discovered when I had all the stitches bound off and tried it on. So I ripped out and put all the stitches back on my needle, and then I picked up, I guess, a 5 millimeter or maybe a 5.5 millimeter needle. I did it again, and it was okay, but I must say it's a bit higher here than there. So maybe it's the bind off, there's no stretch in it. Maybe it is a thing, I don't know. Normally I have buttons before I make buttonholes, and I can use them for the size. Now I didn't. So I went with my cardigan to the yarn shop, and I've chosen 4 easy peasy brown plastic buttons. The cardigan, it's a busy cardigan with quite some color, so I onopvallend, how do you say? I don't want onopvallend. Google Translate, let me see. I don't want my stitches, my buttons to be, I like to learn remarkable. They have to be unremarkable. Is that the right word? I love to learn new words, so I guess that this is it. Unremarkable buttons. And brown is my favorite color, my absolute favorite color. So they are perfect. So I blocked my cardigan. Oh, I cut off all the yarn ends. There were a lot of yarn ends. And I used quite a creative way to avoid all these yarn ends and weaving in those ends. I was looking for a way on YouTube. I couldn't find it. I figured out something on my own, and now I'm a bit worried, but because maybe there's a reason I couldn't find it on YouTube. Maybe it's not so secure as I hoped. So I hope it will last and it will not unravel. Well, I don't want it to unravel, but we shall see. I blocked it, and this morning I sewn the buttons on the button band, and I put it on, and my heart makes a very big jump. This is such a cozy cardigan. It is, oh look at those colors and those granny squares. Oh, I'm absolutely in love with it. It's not the best setting for showing something, so I made a short, I filmed me, how do you say that? I made a short video of me turning around with my cardigan on and try to put it, I will put it on the end of the video so you can see it. You can, and it was not perfect also, but it is what it is. So very happy with this cardigan, and I'm sure I will make another one. I have quite some yarn. I want a woolen version, and I have quite some wool in my stash in all the different colors. Enough for another version, and I want it's a little bit bigger. It's I guess I used my needle 3.5 millimeter for this one. I guess I saw it in my bag. Let's see. Yes, 3.5. And I guess the other yarn will need a 4 millimeter needle. So probably with the same rows I will get a little bit wider. I'm not sure, I have to check. And then I will make a woolen version and then a longer version for on my dress or on my dresses or on my flared pants, my flared jeans. And I can wear it in winter because this is perfect for summer. And yeah, I was on my bike this morning, and the crochet holes between all the stitches are very airy and very light. It was the wind was coming through, and it was perfect because I don't like to be warm. It was the perfect cardigan for me. So very happy, and yeah, I want to say make one of your own if you like granny squares and you like the combination of knitting and crochet. Go check the pattern, and I didn't use the pattern a lot, only that drawing, no, that model with all the granny squares and all the triangles. It's a bit as a puzzle, and yeah, it was quite fun to make. So I will definitely make another one. I don't know when, but I will. Good. This was my only finished object, so let's go to what I'm working on. My work in progress is in a lovely vintage fabric bag. It was a gift to me from a Dutch project bag maker. Her name is Rachel from Rachelebel, and she gave it to me, and it's absolutely one of my favorite fabrics. I love brown, I love flowers, and I love vintage stuff. So a vintage brown flower stuff project bag is it makes me very happy. In this project bag is my little secret crop. My third one, the first one I made 3 years ago, the second one I made this summer, and now I am making a cotton version in brown, my favorite color. It's a worsted cotton weight, a worsted weight cotton, and normally I make a size small from this pattern, but now I have to go down one size to extra small because it was too wide. last week I told you about my struggle. Of all the few weeks I told you about my struggle with my knitting style. I'm a continental knitter and I'm very pleased with it, but my knitting isn't even, my stitches aren't even, and I'm struggling with that. And before summer, before we went on holiday, I remembered I saw a video of Andrea Mowry, one of her how does she call her videos? I forgot. But one of those videos, and she told about changing your knitting style can be the solution when you are not finding the solution in other ways. So I thought maybe I'm not a continental knitter, but an English style knitter. So I changed to that, and now I can say it didn't make me happy. My knitting was more even, but it didn't make me happy. It was not feeling like it was me, and it sounds quite dramatic, but one of my Dutch viewers commented on my video from last week. You have right-handed and left-handed people. Should it be the same with your knitting style? Continental and English style knitters, and you have other ways. That one is for you perfect and the other because I can do both fine, but my inner fire is burning when I'm knitting continental. It feels like me, the flow, everything is flowing and I'm happy and it goes fast, and fast isn't the most important thing, although I like knitting fast because I want to make all the things, but it's mainly that feeling of flow that you go, oh, it's nice and rhythm, and my battery is loading from that feeling, so that's why I'm knitting. It's my battery is not loading, it's recharge again, charging, recharge. So it makes me very happy. And with knitting English style, it was okay, and I felt it sometimes, but it was I don't know. It was my inner fire wasn't burning. It was getting smaller and smaller, and I didn't notice that at the moment, but when I'm looking back at the weeks before we go on holiday, my knitting it felt heavy and I wanted the things, but my battery wasn't recharging. So when we were on holiday, I thought I go knit continental again. That's my stuff and that's my way, and maybe I have to accept my knitting is not as nice as I want to be, but I'm happy. So that was the thing, and I got a lot of suggestions under my episode from last week, from last week again. And I was watching, and then I noticed two things. There were two suggestions. First one was knitting on the tips of your needles. I don't know if that was exactly a suggestion, but someone suggested me a video of Susan Bryan, and then I came by that video on knitting on the tips of your needles, and I don't knit on the tips of my needles, so I stretch out my stitches quite a lot, and that's the dancing stitches. When you stretch out your stitches because you're not knitting on the tip of your needles, it goes woo, and of course the leg will be longer and wobblier. I don't know the word, but of course that will be. So that will, and there was a lovely Dutch viewer. She told me last year, or maybe 2 years ago, she suggested that I could try that, and I did, but I don't like it. Knitting on the tips of my needle, I don't like it. I didn't practice it long enough, but now it was the good moment, so I tried that, and it made me happy. And it was okay, and my knitting was looking better, okay. And the other thing was, there were quite some people who are telling me something about yarn tension. My yarn tension is very tight. And when I'm saying this right now, I'm a bit, how could I not see that? When your yarn tension is quite tight. Of course the legs of your stitches are going wider. Oh, you are so you have such a wide... I want to say something funny, but it don't work out as I want to. But my stitches are yelling to me, you have your yarn so tight, so we must go with our legs to your tight yarn tension. Oh, it's quite hard to make a joke in English when you... But I'm having fun. I'm having fun. And I've read a lot about yarn tension, but I never made the connection with myself, and I don't understand why not. Why not? It's like a black hole. A black spot. There is something, but you can't see it how you do it by your own. But that's the solution of your problem. So I guess the solution of my problem is practicing a looser yarn tension and knitting on the tips of my needle. And when I looked to my work last evening, I thought, it's getting better. It's getting better. When I recorded my Dutch podcast and I showed my yarn, I thought, no, it's not getting much better. But it's on camera. So I don't know. Last evening I fitted this, I tried this top on, and it was quite perfect. I was quite, I wanted to know, because it's an extra small, if the fit would be alright, and it was quite perfect. And also the stitches were stretched out a lot, so they were straight. They couldn't dance because it was quite a negative E, so they have to be straight to fit. And I have a bit of a pain in my arm. I guess it's from the English style knitting. With Continental, I've never had pain in my hands or my wrists or my arms. But now I've knitted English style, and it's quite weird because I use my right hand, but I had in my shoulder, it hurts. And it hurts when I make this movement, I feel. So I was trying my secret crop top on, and I couldn't. It was tight and the needles were in it, and I couldn't make this movement to get it off me. So I was on the couch, somebody help me. And my daughter, my 12-year-old daughter, looked at me and said, what are you doing? I said, you have to put it over my head. So it was she did it with without pulling my needles out, and she helped me a lot. So it was, but when you have seen it, you would have laughed very hard. I did. My daughter did. So it was quite fun. So this one will be ready in a day. I guess I am at the front panel, and I'm a bit, I always make my little secret crop tops. There are two options for straight shoulder tabs or cross shoulder tabs. I call them tabs, but are they bands? Tabs is in the, I guess tabs is the right word, but now I have a bit of a doubt. Now, you know what I mean. I always make them with cross tabs because the two versions I made are with wool, and I like to wear a tank top under it. And my plan was, this one is from cotton, I wouldn't need to wear a tank top under it because this isn't itchy when I'm warm. So I would make it with straight needles, but my back is so naked. I guess the word is revealed. I feel revealed. I don't know. But when there is a cross on my back, tiny straps, it feel less naked, I guess. I don't like. It's perfect for other people to do you say reveal tops? I don't know, but I'm 40-year-old, and it isn't that I think that when you're 40 years old you can't wear short summer tops. That is, but I don't feel comfortable with it. I like to be a bit covered, but not too much. But I don't like to be warm and hot. But I have a bit of a doubt. But I guess it will be crossed shoulder taps, because I like the cross on my back, and it's breaking that all empty skin space on my back. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe maybe it feels better. So I guess that it will be crossed shoulder taps. So, and yeah, now it's time to think about about new projects. I have a knit along. No, sorry, I have a make along. I organize a make along. I organize the It's a Sarah Flora make along. It's a make along for making plants. You can knit them, you can crochet them. I've crocheted quite some cacti the past few years, but never kept one my own. They were always gifts, and I love crochet cacti, and also knitted cacti and knitted plants, crochet plants. I love them. So a few months ago I started the It's a Sarah Flora make along, and when you check the hashtag on Instagram, you see all the lovely crochet and knitted plants, and you can also do something else, but I'm a crocheter and a knitter. And now there are two lovely ladies in the Netherlands, and they've made this book. They sent it to me, so it was a gift from them. Their Instagram account is Liefs Creative House, and both of these women, their names are the same, Marjolein and Marjolein, and their book calls Groene Vingers, and that means green fingers in English. And you can find patterns. Yeah, I can show all the lovely crochet patterns. I love them. So they sent me this book, and I will make a pilea. Oh, I will make one. I also look at this. So nice. I also saw a Christmas tree, and a Christmas tree is on my list for quite a long time. I don't love very hysterical Christmas trees. I'm sorry if you do, but I don't. And this one would be perfect for in our living room as versiering. How do you say versiering? Versiering. Decoration, of course, decoration, as Christmas decoration. There's always a discount for their workshops, but they are in the Netherlands, so I don't know. But when you visit the Netherlands and you want to visit a crochet cacti workshop, you can get 10% korting. A discount, 10% discount on the workshop, but it's in Dutch, and the book is also in Dutch. So I don't know if it's interesting for the English viewers. But I'm going to make some lovely cacti from the book. Then one project, there's another Dutch knitting podcaster, House of Wool is her name, and her podcast is in Dutch, and she started a slow knitting along, and to focus on the slow part of knitting and the satisfaction you can get when you of slow stuff. And I think it's a good reminder in this busy world that not everything has to go fast, but it's also nice to do things slow. I do love knitting fast because I want all the things, and I love to knit fast, and I love to talk about it, but I want to take part on her knit along with a project which reminds me to cherish the slow stuff. So it must be quite a boring project, I guess. So I've chosen the Stria cardigan. Do you say Stria? Stria cardigan from Andrea Mowry. I want to knit it in one color, this red tiger eye color, beautiful color. It's a fingering weight pattern, I guess in the fisherman's rib of a broken fit. I don't know, but in the fisherman's rib, and it's quite a work. And I will cast it on, and it's a fingering weight cardigan, so it will be for spring or summer or early autumn, and it can be a slow project. It's not a warm winter project I want to finish before within a few weeks, but it's okay when it's finished next summer. So I will work on it slow. So I guess I will cast on this, and then I will think about new projects for winter, or now for autumn early. Oh, I forgot to tell in my Dutch podcast, now I remember. But the Mystery Knit Along from Stephen West is also coming. Last year was my first time of the Mystery Knit Along. I love Stephen West's projects, but they're not quite my style. And it's okay, but I very much respect for all the things he can do with knitting work. The designs he make, well, I'm very impressed by them, but I never took part because, yeah, it's not my style. Last year, at the last moment, I decided to take part in the Mystery Knit Along, and it was such fun. Why did I never take part? It was such a pleasure to knit the Charlotte, and I've only worn it once because it's quite the colors I have chosen, and the model and the stitches. It's not something I wear, but I will definitely take part again, and maybe not for the project, but for the process, for the fun, and I'm looking forward to it. And this time I will choose some colors. Maybe next time I can show my charlography. It was with pink and black and yellow. It was quite, the colors are beautiful and I love them together, but it wasn't matching my daily outfit, I guess. And I will try to choose some colors. I don't know what you need already. I think he will tell us in a few days. But I was thinking about a brown Mystery Knit Along, but I don't know if it will work out and what you need, but I will definitely take part. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm always also looking forward to knit some color work and to knit. I also want to knit with Let Lopi. I've missed Let Lopi. It's quite some time ago. I knit with It is quite some time ago I knitted with Let Lopi, and I'm longing for that. So I can't wait for those cozy autumn days. And it was quite warm here in the Netherlands, but now the weather is perfect. I love the summery weather. It is quite some good weather, but it's not so warm. It's weather you can wear your hand knits, your summery hand knits, and sandals, but you have to put on a cardigan at night, and it's getting dark earlier. I really love that. I'm absolutely an autumn and winter person. And I love the month September, so I'm very looking forward to that. Okay, I guess I told everything I wanted to tell you. Let me see. Yes, this weekend I'm on a fair in the Netherlands. It's quite exciting for me because I'm not selling anything. I'm just there to talk with other people and connect with other people, and I'm looking forward to that. So it's such a good feeling to be part of the community. I have some people in my family and friends who are knitting or crocheting also, and it's quite fun. But the community in the Netherlands, there's quite a community, and worldwide there's quite a community. It feels so nice and cozy and very okay. Now someone walking by and looking inside. What is she doing? Why is she talking to her camera, to her phone? Yes, some people do that, talking to their phones. Okay. I'm looking forward to that. And next Monday I will tell you all about that. And I hope I'm wearing my new brown little secret crop. You can see it next week. I wish you a very nice week with quite some knitting and crochet time. Oh yeah, I also want to ask if there's somebody with a good crochet podcast suggestion for me, let me know. I would love to. I don't have podcast suggestions at the moment. My kids are still having vacation, summer vacation. This is the last week, and when they are at home, when they are at school, I watch the podcast all the time, and I am knitting when they are at school. But when they are at home, I don't do that. I don't want to be a mother who's watching to a screen all the time. I do watch my screen. I do watch my phone, but it's more than enough. But it is not that I never do it, but not as much as when I'm home alone. That's I guess a lot of people recognize that. So I didn't discover a lot of new podcasts. Yeah, 2 Dutch new podcasts, but they are in Dutch, so you don't have any. They are not. They are very fun, but you don't understand, I guess. But I'm struggling. But if you have a good podcast suggestion, let me know, especially a crochet podcast suggestion, so I can watch it. Okay. Oh, I see this one. This is the last thing, and then I will say goodbye. This is a shawl, a very big shawl, a crocheted shawl I made several years ago, and it was on the attic of my grandparents. No, not my grandma, my parents-in-law, the parents of my husband. We used their attic to store all our stuff we don't need anymore, or we are not sure what to do with anymore. But I discovered this shawl, and I love the colors. It's only acrylic. When I started crocheting, I started with acrylic. But I've banned acrylic out of my life. I don't want acrylic. I am such a wool lover. And wool has, I love wool, and acrylic isn't, I don't love acrylic anymore. But I do love this shawl, so I was a bit in a doubt. What should I do with it? I can't put it away, but I don't want to wear it, because acrylic isn't the same nice, warm, nature, pure woolen feeling. So I put it on the couch, so it looks very cozy, and I'm very happy with it. I love the colors. Maybe I should make it in wool once in the same colors. Maybe that's a good idea. We shall see. But for now it's on the couch and it's perfect. Okay, I wish you a very nice week with a lot of handwerktijd in Dutch, crafting time. And I see you next week. Bye!